they're doing the thing. And we'll just start by rolling out the shoulders. And then we'll roll them forward. Good. And then we'll do some big arm circles. And we'll circle it back. From here, take the hands down and just start pushing the hips side to side. Good. And then from here, slowly walk your hands down, taking your hands to the ground. You can go slower, obviously, if you need to, or you can go quicker, whatever feels better. Keep your head kind of looking down so that way you're not lifting your head and crunching the back of your neck. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed. Try to relax your face too. And then let's press it to center. And then we're going to fold it over. Relax your head, neck, and shoulders. You're going to shake your head like you're saying no. And then you're going to nod like you're saying yes. And then from here, neutral spine. Walk your hands to the right leg and hold it here. Breathing deep. Relax your head, neck, and shoulders. Inhale through center. Exhale to the other side. Relaxing your head, neck, and shoulders. And come to center. Bend your knees. Slowly roll it up, one vertebrae at a time. And then head comes up last. Coming into a stable position, you're just going to look up and down. So stretching out the neck a little bit, warming up the neck. Keeping the shoulders relaxed and down. You can go nice and slow. And then think of just pushing beyond that range of motion. So just kind of pushing against both extremities. And then look side to side, coming to center, side to side. Keeping the shoulders down, away from your ears. Good. Bringing it back to center once you're balanced, and then drop one ear side to side. Keeping your shoulders and your hips stable, so you're not pushing the hips side to side or the shoulders side to side. Again, you can go slower and also try to push the extremity here. So when you get to that place where you feel tightness, try to push just beyond it. And then we're going to roll it through center and then through to the other side. So you're just alternating semicircles, front and back, or front side to side. Moving slowly, shoulder tops down, away from your ears. And then from here, we're going to bring it up, and we're going to bring the right ear all the way to the shoulder. Bring the right hand up. Press that left hand and left shoulder down away from your ear. And then think of pressing the left side of your cheek up and away from you on that 45-degree angle as you do this as well. So you're kind of like finding resistance in your stretch. And then gently release, and then we'll switch sides, bringing the left ear down, left hand above. Push the right hand and right shoulder down. And then think of pressing the right side of your jaw up and away in that 45-degree angle as you Hold your head here and press down with that right hand to find that extra resistance. And from here, gently bring it up, release it down. We're going to slide it down again, all the way back to your ankles. You're going to grab your elbows and just hang down. Keep a micro bend in your knees. Focus on your shoulders still away from your ears, so don't let your neck kind of crunch. Still roll the shoulders back. And then just start swaying side to side. Keep a little micro bend in your knees. You can squeeze your thighs here. That's going to help relax your hamstrings. Anytime we're working our hamstrings, shall I say, if you squeeze your thigh muscles, your quad muscles, it's going to help relax the back of the leg, which is your hamstring, and that's going to help it get deeper into that stretch. So we're still swaying side to side. And then again, let's reach to that left leg. Tuck your chin in your stretch here, so you're relaxing the back of your neck. And then let's walk it to the other side. Again, tuck your chin. And bring it center. Bend your knees. Slowly roll it up, one vertebrae at a time. Sweep the arms up. And then as you sweep down, dive down again. Back to those ankles. We're going to turn towards the foot of the leg that's tightest. In your split, we'll say. So for me, my left side split, aka my left leg forward, is tighter for me, so I'm going to turn towards my left. But if that's opposite to you, then turn towards your right. Okay, I'm going to talk in terms of outside hand, inside hand, back leg, front leg, so that way we can stay together. But I want you to focus on your non-dominant side first, your tighter side first, because we're going to spend a little bit more time in these stretches, just so that we can get a little deeper in that non-dominant side. So wherever that is for you, perfectly fine. We're in our lunge, front knee is over the ankle, back leg is straight, hands are supporting as well. From here, gently bring your hands up. We're going to find your balance for a breath or two. Squeeze that glute in the back, keeping the chest up, shoulders down. Try to straighten out that back leg and keep your back leg nice and square, so you're only on the ball of the foot. And we'll bring it down to the outside hand, and the inside hand is going to go up. So you're twisting toward that front leg. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift out of your bottom shoulder. And if you can, look up to your top hand, spread your fingers wide. Bring the hand down to the inside of your knee and take the outside hand up. Try to still stay on the ball of the back foot so your heel is lifted. Try not to press that down. You're still square in that back hip. And we're trying to look up as well, stretching out the neck. And bring it down. From here, we're going to pull that back leg up gently so we're in a triangle position. Back leg, nice and straight. Gently lift the chest, shoulders down. And you're looking kind of forward and down. So again, your shoulders and neck are relaxed. Little micro bend in that front knee. Squeeze the thigh or the quad muscle to relax the hamstring. Lift the tailbone. Think of your shoulders down and away so your back is nice and flat. And that's okay if you're up here for that. And it's cool if you're all the way down here, as long as your back's flat and you're focusing on that lift in your tailbone. We're going to take the outside hand down and we're going to take the inside hand in again or up for another twist. You have a micro bend in that front knee. Squeeze the shoulder blades. down onto that left hand, or pardon me, inside hand. Whether the hand is on the ankle or on the floor, that's up to you. And you're going to take the outside hand up. So you're twisting away from the body. Little micro bend in your knee so the knee is soft, front knee. But you're still trying to lift that tailbone as much as you can. And then we'll gently bring the hand down. We'll soften that front knee. And then we're going to drop the back leg back. You're going to drop down to your back knee. I'm just going to fold my mat a little more because my knees are feeling kind of sensitive today. Give me some extra padding. And then you're going to flatten your back leg. So you're on the shin, your toes are pointed. And then we're going to walk up so the chest is above the hips. So your hand can be pressing onto the knee, but just try not to be leaning on your forearm, because then your chest comes forward and you lose a lot of the stretch. So again, let's try to keep the chest lifted. Squeeze the butt cheek. If you're feeling unstable, you can have something near you to help you hang on to, whether that's blocks or a stool or a chair or whatever. I like to stretch next to my bed, and I'm constantly holding onto my bed. In this stretch, the more you squeeze this glute in the back, the deeper you're going to relax the hip flexor. So you can think about that as well when you're stretching the hip flexor anytime. You're stretching the hip flexor, the more you squeeze your butt cheek, the more you will relax the hip flexor. It's the opposite muscle syndrome. Don't ask me why, but that's the rule. We're going to shift back into our triangle now that I have talked our ear off. And we're going to flex the front foot. And if you can, we're going to rise up into a flat back. You can use something to balance, blocks or anything if you want, or press into the thigh right above your knee, or mid-thigh technically. Or you can also kind of balance the weight between the thigh and the shin to help you balance. Focus on squeezing your thighs to help you not fall over. Flex the thigh of that front leg in order to help relax the back of the leg. And try to pull your toes up to your face. So really flex your foot actively and really much, and find that pain and be like, I'm trying to flex it even more. And it's going to get deeper into the back of your calf and leg. And we're going to bring it slowly forward. Bringing it back forward. We're going to curl that back foot underneath. And we're going to turn to face forward or into a side lunge. The knee that was bent is still bent. And our other leg is straight, and we're just finding balance on the legs as much as you can for a minute to warm up those inner thighs. So taking the hands off the floor or bringing it to the fingertips to make sure you're not putting too much weight into the arms, and try not to lean on the elbow as well. Squeeze this thigh here to help protect the knee and get into that hamstring. And breathing through it, we're going to flex the foot of the straight leg, turn the toe up, and then drag the leg closer so we can sink to the heel. Bringing the leg to the outside of the shoulder, palms together, back is flat. If you need to, hands on the floor to help you balance. Itchy leg. Finding your breath. If it's accessible, take that arm, reaching it down to the floor, and then open up into a chest opener, if that feels okay. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then finally, also, if you want, rotating the palms up and trying to bind the arms, bind the hands around your leg and behind your back. Looking up to the ceiling. And let's gently release the hands. And then we're going to sit down on the floor. From here, we're just going to extend that leg, shake it out, shake both legs out. Good. And then the knee that was bent, it's going to bend again, but now we're just going to turn it into what I like to call the Nike symbol. Or half pancake stretch would be more accurate. Okay, I'm shaking out my hips. Sometimes it gets locked. So sometimes that happens. You might feel your hip gets locked in this position and it's like, no, I can't push forward. So you can work through it, or you can just extend the leg for this combo if you need to, whatever feels best. From here, we're gonna take the hands up, inhaling to lengthen. We're gonna twist towards our straight leg and we're going to fold over it. I want you to focus on keeping the knee as close to the ground as possible and keeping that sit bone of this leg as well on the ground. So try not to let everything lift up. And you can flex your foot. If you can't reach your toes, you could always grab a strap. But if you can grab your toes, amazing. And then just relax your head, neck, and shoulders down. So your chin is down, wherever that is for you. Sometimes when I have a headache, it hurts to have my head hang down. So what I like to do is like prop stuff underneath of my forehead while I'm in that position to support me. So if you can, or if you want, I'm gonna take off my glasses for this demo and then put them back on because they get in the way. But usually what I'll do is I'll just take my fists. I don't know if my pole's in the way, so I'm gonna move. I just take my fists and I'll do this, so that way my head doesn't have to hang. And then it helps, and then I can take a fist off kind of as I get into the position, or deeper into the position. So you can try that as well while you're holding your stretch. A couple more deep breaths. And we'll bring it up nice and slow. And then we're gonna turn into our pigeon onto that front leg. So we're gonna rotate and sink into our pigeon. For our pigeon, you can flex that front foot, walking it forward as you get deeper, but first focusing on keeping that back knee and back leg aligned. So all 5 toes touching the ground, kneecap pointing down rather than turned out. And then for our first part of our stretch, let's try to push into our arms to push back into almost a back bend. So that way our chest is getting more aligned over our hips so that it can help gravity get us lower. You're gonna squeeze the butt cheek on that back leg, shoulder blades down and back, shoulders roll down and back, and then squeezing your glutes as much as you can as you try to arch back ever so slightly. But I'm also pushing into my hands to help support me. Okay, focus on it coming from your back as much as you can to help strengthen your back and your posture. But if you're feeling tired and not into it, your hands are always there to support you. You know that. We're gonna walk you forward whenever you're ready, and gently either bring your forehead to the ground if that feels okay today, or again, make a little pillow with your palms or your fists, depending on how you're feeling. Big deep breaths. You're going to gently bring yourself up. And then from here, we're going to pull the back leg up, back foot up, not the leg, just the foot. I guess the whole leg would be challenging. And you're going to bring the wrist in line with your foot to start. We're going to flex the palm open and push into the foot as we push our foot into our arm to find that resistance. And then we're going to turn out away from the back leg. Opening the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and the shoulders are down away from your ears. From here, we're going to slowly turn back center to grab the back foot with our hand and then pull the foot in as deeply as you can. So whether that's, my foot is being blocked by the pole, just so perfectly. So whether you're just pulling it in like so, or you're able to rotate your fingers to point at your butt and your elbow to come up, so you can do more of a like pushing down sensation. That can help you get deeper into it. There's a little shoulder rotation involved, or shoulder flexibility. Bit of both, maybe. So be cautious of that. Try to keep your front butt cheek on the ground. So try not to let yourself be forced to come up just to get your back leg deeper. So If you're finding that you're bringing it in, you're going, oh, that's okay. Just bring it down a bit more and hold it in that place. Hold the back leg in the place where your hips can remain down so that you're not sacrificing the front stretch in order to get the back stretch. Let's gently release. And from here, we're just gonna come into a downward dog to stretch out the back of that leg we were just smooshing. Push into the hands. Gently pedal out the legs. Shoulders down away from your ears. And then from here, we're going to slowly walk our hands and our feet together. And you can roll it up nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. Ooh. And we're going to grab some water before we do the other side. That butt cheek is awake.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said my butt cheek is awake.
After we do the other side, I'm actually just gonna dip out.
That's okay, cool. Because like based on the time, by the time we get to the other side, it'll be nearly 45 minutes. So if you're cool with that, that's awesome. That's also why I wanted to start with the other leg, the non-dominant leg. That way I could take a little less time on this side. So that's why it's gonna be a little off, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Cool, yeah. Okay, my love, let's get back to it.
Sure.
So we're gonna come to open legs first. And we're gonna fold it over. Releasing your head, neck, and shoulders. And we're going to walk our hands over to our second leg. Turning into our lunge. Front knee is over that ankle, back leg is nice and straight. From here, take that inside hand up, pushing firmly into that bottom hand, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And take that hand down to the inside of the leg. Opposite hand up, outside hand. Make sure you stay on the ball of that back leg. Back leg's trying to stay nice and straight. And we'll bring the hand down. We'll pull that back leg up into our triangle. You're gonna walk it up your front leg, lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Trying to lengthen your spine, micro bend in your front knee. You're gonna squeeze that thigh if you would like to help get deeper into your hamstring. Anytime you can squeeze and release, or you can just squeeze it the whole time, or you can do a combination of squeezing for a bit and releasing for a bit. Keeping it knee soft though. Left hand or outside hand, pardon me, down. Inside hand is gonna go up. Still keeping that little micro bend in your knee just to protect the joint, but trying to keep it as straight as possible. Lengthen that tailbone. And bring the hand to the ankle and switch. Outside hand goes up. And gently bring it down. From here, we're gonna step our back leg back. Jump to the back knee, so I'm just gonna fold my mat up again. You're gonna flatten your back leg, back foot, so your ankle is flat, and we're gonna lift our chest. I'm gonna fall over. From here, press the hips forward, and as you press into your hand, of course my pole is kind of blocking. As you press into your hands, think of the shoulders leaning back, right? So you're not leaning forward, shoulders leaning back. Shoulder tops down away from the ears. Squeeze the glute of that back butt cheek to relax your hip flexor. And engage the core as well to help you balance if you feel like you're falling over, but use something to help you stabilize if necessary. Nothing wrong with lazy stretching if you're not feeling it. Ooh. Now we're going to just going through my brain to make sure I didn't miss anything. We're gonna come forward and we're gonna flex that front foot into our half split. So your front foot is flexed, your front leg is extended as well, and you're balancing on the thigh, hands pressing into mid-thigh, or one on mid-thigh and the opposite one on the shin in front of you. You're gonna flex that foot, pull the toes actively into your face, and also flex your thigh here. Keeping a little micro bend in your knee. Try to keep your hips square. Gently bring it forward. From here, we're gonna curl our back foot underneath. We're gonna come up into our lunge again so we can turn back to center. From here, push that knee open, squeeze the thigh of the straight leg here the entire time. And we're gonna make sure we're trying to, for a moment here, get more weight into our legs to help warm up those inner thighs. So let's push into our fingertips rather than our full hands if we can, or even lift the hands, whatever feels all right for you for a few more seconds. And 3, 2, and we're gonna flex that foot of the straight leg, externally rotating so the toe points up and the knee rotating through the hip as you sink into the opposite heel. Try to keep the weight in the outside of your foot, so on the outer ridge, the knee is behind the shoulder, palms are together. Try to lift your chest and flex, remember, the thigh of that straight leg. From here, we're gonna extend that arm and open the chest. The knee is still behind the shoulder. And then you're gonna rotate the palms up if it's accessible and bind your hands. And gently release the hands. We're gonna sit down on the floor. Ooh. And then I'm just gonna get back onto my mat because I sat down on the ground. You're gonna pull the heel of the leg that was bent into the groin. We're gonna flex the foot of the straight leg. We're gonna inhale, reach up, exhale, twist, and we're gonna fold it over. Try to keep the knee and the bum on the ground, keeping your thigh active if you want to help you get deeper into the pose, but not necessary if you're not feeling it. Relax the head, neck, and shoulders. And remember, if you want, you can make the fists to support your head, or grabbing the ball of your foot, pull that foot into you, whatever feels all right to you. From here, we're gonna gently bring it up. We're gonna turn onto that front leg for our pigeon. Coming square in the hips, back leg squares and the back toe points. So try to flatten your foot, relaxing your ankle, and focus on all 5 toes of that back foot touching the ground and the back knee being square to the ground as well. You're gonna try pushing into your hands as much as you can to help you lean back. Hands can stay on the mat, but if you can, bring them onto your, thigh and your foot so that you're able to kind of get even further back. It also helps you get a little deeper into the stretch because you're doing it more actively by putting more weight into your legs, if that makes sense. You're gonna squeeze the glute of the back leg the entire time here to help you relax the hip, but also help hold your body up. Squeeze the shoulder blades, engage the core, and also pushing into those hands for a few more deep breaths. And from here, we're gonna walk the hands forward, make a pillow with your hands, or extend the arms and bring your forehead all the way to the floor. Gently walk your hands or push your hands into the ground to bring yourself back up. And we're gonna pick up the back foot. Reaching back with that same hand, we're gonna bring the foot in line with the wrist, opening the palm. You're gonna push into the foot. As you push your foot into your hand, finding resistance, turning away from the back body. Remember, try not to, actually this is the next stretch actually. Never mind, ignore the tip I was about to tell you because it's for the next pose. I'm mixing up my poses. Focus on keeping your hand open as much as you can and ignoring my shenanigans. And gently turn to center. Now, as you can, you're gonna pull the foot in. Try not to lift up to get too much extra, what's it called? Range, we're calling it range of motion, because that's what it is. Try to focus more on maybe wiggling the foot into the forearm rather than using your hand, if that helps, or holding the foot somewhere where you can also keep your hips roughly where they were before. Breathing deep. Couple more deep breaths. And gently put the foot down without slapping it back down. Placing your hands onto the floor, we're gonna curl it under. Step back into our downward dog and pedal out the feet to stretch out the back of the knees. Shoulders away from your ears. Try to get that tailbone lifted. And then walk it back together. Hold it down. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. And gently roll it up one vertebrae at a time. Did I forget anything? Did I do everything evenly?
Sorry, what?
So did I forget anything or was that pretty even?
No, that was pretty even.
I did all the things. Okay, cool. You feel like you still want to tap out? That's totally cool. I just want to check in with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna top out.
Okay, my love. I hope it made your head feel a little better at least. But thank you for still joining me today. It was lovely to have you.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Of course, my dear. Yeah, I hope your headache feels better and that this weather goes back to nice. But, and again, I hope I see you soon also.
Oh, you will. I registered everything for like definitely two, maybe 3 more classes, so.
Awesome. I'm very excited to see you. Well, hopefully by then your head feels better. I'm sure it will. But yeah, take it easy, have a bath, or, you know, take a sleeping pill and just conk out.
Okay, yeah, I'll try my best.
All right, my love. Well, it was good to have you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
You as well. Take care.
Thank you. Take care, babe.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. I'm gonna take the rest of my recording. Like 36. 20 minutes. For this next section, you may need a strap. So depending on your level of flexibility, have a strap nearby or go, hey, pause and go grab one. For this next section, you may use For this next section, you may need a strap. So grab one quickly if you need one, or if you want to start a sequence and see how you fare, that's fine as well. We're going to lay down on our back. we're gonna take our tighter leg, so whichever leg is the tighter hamstring, for me it's my left, and you're gonna bring that leg up. Okay, you're going to extend the opposite leg nice and flat to the ground. Then I want you to grab the ball of your foot, okay? While you grab the ball of your foot, I need your leg to remain straight and your shoulders to stay on the floor. So if your leg up here, then I need you to grab a strap, okay? Something that doesn't have too much give. There's a little give in this because I have it double wrapped. I prefer a strap because it has no give, which means you can really focus on finding resistance by pulling down on the foot, but having a little bit of give is also nice as well. Okay, so you can bend the knee, you're gonna bring the strap or whatever you're using to the ball of your foot, so right below your toes and above the arch of your foot. And then you're going to allow your foot to flex. You're gonna push the back of your knee away from you, flex the thigh, and as you do that, we're gonna pull on our arms, so that way it forces our foot to flex even more. And we're gonna also pull the foot toward our face. Okay, so I'm pulling down, but I'm also pulling the foot this way as much as I can, without smacking myself in the face with my straps. From here, we're also actively pushing the knee away from us. We're gonna hold that sensation of actively pushing away for 10 seconds. Squeezing the thigh, actively push away, hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, allow your foot to flex, even more, 5, 4, keep pushing away, 3, 2, release the active push, and you can let the knee bend for a hot second. And then we're gonna re-straighten it without actively pushing away. We're just gonna hold it as straight as we can, and now we're gonna just pull the leg in a little deeper, or maybe it's just not as uncomfortable. Okay, but we're doing a little activation exercise, a squeeze and release or contract and release exercise that helps you get deeper into the stretches, deeper into your muscles, a little more safely, because you're priming them with that active stretch first before you will passively pull them closer or sink deeper into them, depending on what kind of pose you're doing. From here, you're going to take the strap in the opposite hand to the foot you're holding. Okay, and we're going to draw the leg across as we open up the chest to counterbalance. So you're reaching away with the opposite hand and you're trying to turn away from the leg that's extended. I'm going to look at you for a hot second so I can chat. You're trying to pull this leg up toward you. If it can't get to the ground, that's okay. Use your elbow to help prop you up, or you can even put a block or something underneath. Okay, you're trying to keep this leg straight, and you're trying to keep the bottom leg on the mat where it was. So try not to let it pull in, try to keep it on the mat exactly where it was. Turning away to complete the stretch for a few deep breaths here. And gently bring it up to center. We're going to shake out the leg for a second, and now we're going to open it to the other side. So grabbing the band or holding your foot with one hand, still at the ball of your foot. You're going to let the leg drop open as you open your arm to counterbalance, and then you're going to actively press this leg and this butt cheek down so that this doesn't happen. I need you to keep everything glued down as that leg drops open, because that's how you're going to create more flexibility. The more you resist the fact that gravity is trying to take this lovely leg of yours down to the ground. Actively squeeze your quad of the extended leg as well to help protect your knee and open up your hip flexor, inner thighs. And then again, this quad and leg are pressing down, so that way you're not lifting. We're extending this arm and technically supposed to be looking away from the leg to complete our stretch. From here, gently bring it to center. You're going to release your strap. You can roll out your ankle, and then we'll cross that foot over the opposite knee for a little glute stretch before we switch sides. So you're pulling the knees up, reaching through the legs to grab behind your thigh, and pushing into the knee with the elbow to help open that hip. Actively squeeze your butt cheek of this top leg to open up the hip as well, but you can also push into the elbow. But the more you squeeze your glute, the more the knee will start opening. Bottom leg can stay bent, or You can pull it up and try to pull it toward your face to get a deeper stretch in your glute. And gently release. And we're gonna switch legs. Okay, opposite leg comes up. You're gonna flex the foot. You're gonna wrap the strap around the ball of your foot. Remember, the shoulders have to stay on the ground if you're grabbing the ball of your foot without the strap. Knee can have micro bend, but make sure it's not like, huh, just for you to get it. You know what I mean? You wanna have nearly straight leg if this is where you are. From here, we're pulling that foot into our face, actively pulling down on the straps or the ball of our foot so our elbows are trying to bend. Pushing the back of the knee away from us and squeezing the front of the thigh actively. And we're holding all of this for 10 seconds. So we're pushing, squeezing, and pulling through our arms as we pull the foot toward our face for 10, 9, 8, keep squeezing, 7, 6, flexing the thigh, pushing the back of the knee away for 4, 3, pulling down on the foot, relaxing your ankle. Try to flex your foot, allow your foot to flex. 2, and 1. Release the active pushing and the pulling super hard on the hands. And now just try to pull deeper into the stretch where your foot is perhaps leg trying to come closer to your face. Focus on relaxing the push away, but you can keep the thigh squeezing if you like. And just breathing here for a few more deep breaths. From here, we're going to bring the leg across the chest. So grabbing the strap in the opposite hand to the leg that's up, or grabbing that big toe area with one hand. You're going to open the opposite arm away and pull the leg across you into a twist. Trying to keep your bottom leg on the mat so that you're not pulling out of alignment. You want these two legs to be perpendicular to each other. Okay, you're still flexing your foot. You're trying to keep this leg straight, and you're relaxing, turning away from the leg with your chest and your gaze. Use your elbow to prop your leg up higher or blocks. Remember, if you need to. If the foot gets all the way to the ground, awesome. But if you're having a hard time just to get that far, maybe take a step back, focus on form and feeling a little more comfortable. You should be able to breathe and have a little bit of a conversation while you're stretching. At least here. We're not working too hard right now. We're gonna gently exhale it up, switch the hand that you're holding the foot with. Or the bands, so if you're holding your straps, both hands are switching to the same hand, or grab the side of your foot if you're holding your foot and you're letting the leg drop out. And remember, you're squeezing the bottom leg and the glute and the hip flexor. You're pressing down into the leg, into the ground, and opening away from your extended leg with your hands and your gaze. Try to keep some tension on the bands, so you want to try to continue pulling the leg up as well if you can, if that feels okay with you. Little micro bend in your knee, flexing that thigh muscle here to protect your knee as well. And gently bring it up. We're going to release the strap if we have our strap. Bend that top leg, crossing it over the opposite knee, and then reaching through the whole of the bottom leg to come into our glute stretch. Flex both feet. Actively squeeze this glute to push this knee away. I don't know if you can see my knee is actively moving a little bit because I'm pulsing my butt cheek to show you. If you squeeze, it will move. Okay, so focus on pushing or squeezing more than you're pushing. That way it's more active and a truer stretch. You can also bring that bottom leg to straight and pull it towards the face to actively deepen the stretch as well. From here, we're going to gently release, cross the ankles, shake it out, roll out the ankles if necessary. And then from here, we're gonna roll up to seated, and we're gonna switch over to our first split sequence before we sign off for the evening. So we're gonna come back into our lunge that we were in, and we're gonna start with our non-dominant leg again. So I'm going to start with my left leg forward. Whichever is your non-dominant leg is your choice. I'm gonna make a little bit of padding though, because again, my knees are feeling sensitive. So you're in your lunge position. Your back foot is flat, your knee is aligned over your ankle, chest is lifted. We're pressing the hips forward. You're gonna take a deep breath in, and then on your exhale, you're gonna think of squeezing your legs together this way, and we're holding for 10, 9, 8. Actively squeeze the legs together. So front leg pulling back leg pressing down and forward for 5 more seconds. 4, squeeze the butt cheek back leg. 3, 2, 1. Release the squeezing. Sink deeper into the stretch. Good. Couple deep breaths here. General rule of thumb for the contract and release method is a 10-second squeeze and a 20-second release, or releasing the pose for double the amount of time that you squeezed. So if you did a 10-second squeeze, it's a 20-second release. If you do a 5-second squeeze, it's a 10-second release. So on and so forth. From here, we're gonna hinge back into our half split. Flex your foot, lift your chest. Very important to remain in your flat back here. So if you're rounding your back just to touch the floor, let's bring it up. Lifting your chest, shoulder blades squeezing together. Now you're gonna actively push your front foot down and try to squeeze your inner thighs together and closed for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Squeeze your glutes. 4, 3, 2, and release the squeezing. And just hold the position. Releasing into the pose a little bit, lifting your tailbone and lifting your shoulder blades down and back. So even though I'm descending, I'm not rounding. Focus on keeping your flat back. If you're gonna hinge, it's from the hips. Now we're going to slide that front foot off the mat, or forward, wiggle it forward, whatever you need doing. And flex your foot if you need, or if you can, we're gonna point the toe. You're gonna squeeze the thigh of your front leg and the butt cheek of your back leg, okay? I want you to focus on squaring your back foot. So a lot of the times we turn it like this because if we're up higher, we're on the kneecap. But I need you to turn and use blocks and a ton of padding under your knee to try to square yourself off. Okay, use blocks under your hands so that you can get up higher and get padding under your knees. We're squeezing the back butt cheek and the front thigh, and now we're gonna try to close the legs against the ground, and we're holding for 10, 9. So we're closing the legs, and we're also squeezing the butt cheek of the back leg and the quad of the front leg, and we're closing the legs, and we're still closing for 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and release the squeeze, and allow yourself to sink a little deeper into your stretch. Breathing deeply. Keep squeezing the glute and the quad if you want, but don't try to close the legs, otherwise you're gonna start you can't relax down, right? That's to prime the muscles, but you can now keep squeezing the quad and the glute if that feels comfortable to help you continue to be safe, because the quad squeezing protects your knee, but it also just helps to get deeper without hindering, let's call it the actual stretch, because when you're contracting, you're not stretching. But it's not hindering the stretch, the contract release method, it's just part of the method. And I'm talking your ear off so that you're not thinking about your splits. Come out of your splits however your body would like to come out of your splits. Gently bring it back to tabletop or child's pose. Okay, quick little child's pose. And then we will bring it back up. And we have another leg. So we're gonna step the opposite leg forward into our lunge, and we're gonna lift the chest. Okay, so we're not gonna spend as much time on the contract and release method here because it is our dominant leg. From here, we're gonna sink down into the pose. Okay, we're gonna inhale. On the exhale, we're gonna squeeze those legs together. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's release the contraction, sink into the stretch. You can keep squeezing the glute of that back leg because it will help relax the hamstring or the hip flexor. Okay, I know 8-second contraction is much less time than 10 seconds, but we just want to try to catch our leg up to the other side, right? Balance is very important for reducing the risk of injury. I couldn't remember the word reducing. It's been a day, been a long day, good day, but a long day. Can't use my brain. From here, we're gonna hinge back into our half split. We're gonna flex that front foot, lift the chest. Remember, posture is key here, so don't grab the floor don't just touch the floor to touch the floor. If your back is rounded, I need you to lift up, flatten your back, shoulders down. Now you're gonna flex that foot, squeeze the thigh, inhale, exhale, try to close those legs. So you're pushing down into the heel and trying to pull this back leg forward, inner thigh squeezing. We're holding for 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and release the squeezing. But hold the stretch. Perhaps you can hinge a little deeper. Maybe it's just not so uncomfortable. For me, on my non-dominant side, it's just not so uncomfortable. And I can sort of get a little deeper, but it's really just less uncomfortable. On my dominant side, I can get deeper. It's not uncomfortable at all on my dominant side anymore. There is hope, guys. Let me tell you, I couldn't touch my toes when I started my splits journey. You're gonna get there. And we're gonna gently walk, shimmy, wiggle the foot forward. Remember to keep your back leg square. So all 5 toes are touching on the mat of your back leg, and your kneecap is square. Mat, put padding under there, put blocks under your hands to help you stay chest over the hips. We're gonna inhale, and on the exhale, close those legs against the ground. Squeeze the butt cheek of the back leg and the quad of the front leg actively the entire time, holding it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release the squeezing. Try to sink deeper, or it's maybe less uncomfortable, or maybe a bit of both. Try to keep the chest over the shoulder, over the hips though, so don't fold forward now that we're done the contraction. You're still engaging your back muscles to help you stay in your posture, and your back butt cheek and the front thigh, remember, can stay active. Just don't continue clamping your legs closed, otherwise you're defeating the purpose of the second part of our contract and release method. I understand it's painful, so if you're up higher and you're not so much in your split, grab blocks or something to help support you so that you're not feeling like, holy, hunched over. I want you to be in this upward posture. So if that means having blocks under your hands while you're up there, that's perfectly fine and safer than you trying to force yourself into your split in the bad posture or unsupported. We're gonna call it unsupported because that's no fun. You're gonna come out of your split however it feels comfortable for you. And you're gonna shake it out for a moment. Okay, we have one more split to work on, our middle splits. My least favorite split, but we're gonna do it because balance is very important. Okay, so for this split, I like to use the wall to be as supported as possible, but if you don't have wall space, you can do it freestanding. Okay, the wall helps also keep me in alignment, which is nice because I don't have to think so much about that part. So if you are going to use a wall, you can put your mat all the way up against the wall so that you're supported, or you can just be on the ground. But given where we're going to be, you're going to want to have the wall to support you. Oh, I'm just going to move this over so you can see a bit more of me a little bit. Oh, you get my plants too, so that's fine. Okay. So if you're going to use the wall for this stretch, you're welcome to move your mat over so that you have something to support your knees because we're going to be on our knees for this first part of the stretch. Okay, so we're going to do a prep and then we're going to do the true expression of your middle splits. So first, We're gonna have our feet turned out and pressed directly onto the wall. And your feet are in line with your knees, right behind your knees, and your knees are in line with your hips. So your leg is forming a 90 degree. Okay, and then you can be on your hands and feel like, holy Lord, this is enough, that's cool. Or if you can, you're gonna come to your elbows, okay? From here, you're gonna try to tuck your pelvis under and then lift your tailbone. And in order to help you do that, you're gonna use your back muscles. So you're gonna push into your arms and you're gonna try to round your back and squeeze your legs together as well as you tuck your pelvis. And then lift your tailbone, arch your back. So try to lift your bum, drop your boobs, lift your chest, and then that will arch your tailbone up. And then we're reversing. We're squeezing the legs together as we press through the elbows and round the back. And then release the inner thighs, lift the tailbone, lift the chest, drop your belly button. Let's do 3 more like that. Really squeeze your inner thighs together as you tuck your pelvis and round your back. And release, lifting. Keep those feet pressed on the wall. And tuck, press, squeeze your inner thighs, and release. And then we're gonna do one more. Inhale, exhale. Tuck the pelvis, tuck the inner thigh, or tuck the chin, squeeze your inner thighs. Pressing into your elbows to help you round your back. We're still squeezing for 3, 2, and release. Slowly arch and breathe. We're just gonna hold it here for a moment. Allow the hips to adjust and perhaps open up a little bit. Awesome. From here, we're gonna come out for a moment. So you're just gonna let army crawl forward out of this. And allow yourself to wiggle your knees in so you can come back for a moment. Okay, we're going to proceed to our next stretch for middles, which will be our last stretch before we do our quick cool down. You can do the exact same stretch you just did, your frog stretch, and perhaps challenge yourself to maybe use something slippery to slide deeper into the stretch. So maybe moving your mat, putting knee pads on, or towels under your knees, and then allowing those things to slide open as you get deeper, right? Because this will happen. Otherwise, stay on your mat if that's seeming too progressive, because it will kind of force you to get deeper without you wanting to get deeper sometimes, because it's sliding out, so it can get deep, get intense. If you're not ready for that, that's okay. Stay on the mat, so there's some friction. Or you're gonna come into your middle split. So we're gonna come onto the inner ridge of our feet from standing, and then we're gonna allow the legs to slide out, okay? I'm doing this on socks, on hardwood, because I'm crazy. No, because I wanna get the most out of my stretch. So like I was saying, if you have that slippery surface, it's gonna help you get deeper without having to work so hard, because it's naturally gonna help you slide out as gravity starts pulling you down. If you're not ready for that intensity yet, feel free to stay on your mat and just kind of walk your feet as wide as you feel comfortable with it. Again, using the wall helps you stay in alignment, because we want to keep our hips and our butt in alignment. I'm going to show you what that means when I get into it. We don't want to push our bum too far back or push our butt too far forward. So having the wall against our butt and our feet will keep everything in alignment, and thus make it very easy to do that. And then you can just focus on the breathing and the fact that your inner thighs are like, why are you doing this? But it's good, it's all good stuff, okay? So, from here, I have enough wall space between this guy and this, with this fun little door jam. Okay, so again, we're on the inside ridge of our feet. I'm gonna lose my foot in here. I'm gonna move this garbage can just in case for my foot space. Yeah, I got room now, okay. We're on the inner edges of our feet. We're gonna flex our feet the entire time and squeeze our thighs the entire time. Okay, my heels are touching the wall and my butt is touching the wall. Okay, now you're gonna let your heels slide apart. Your elbows will start supporting you, so you're kind of doing a little push-up and a plank. And now I've slid down as much as I can, so my butt's still touching the wall, right? If we're not using the wall as a guide, sometimes we end up going up here and then it's not really as effective, okay? Gravity helps you the more you're in alignment. So from here, I'm pushing through my elbows to help me stay back. I'm squeezing my thighs the whole time, or the tops of my thighs, my quads, okay? And you're allowing those hips to slide down. And we're gonna now inhale and exhale. Try to close your legs against the ground. We're holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax the squeeze and try to let yourself sink deeper without falling over. So I have to kind of crunch down onto my elbows now because my hips are sliding quite low. So in order for it to continue feeling, keeping my hips, pelvis tucked under, I have to drop my chest, right? We don't want to arch. We want to stay in a nice neutral hip. So we don't want to be tucked under or arched up. We want to be very neutral in our hips. So if my chest is too high, I won't be able to do that. Okay, I'm talking basically just to distract you and myself from the fact that we're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I'm low enough that I can slide my feet forward to come out. But you might have to army crawl forward like we did in the last stretch. Slow army crawl, and then slowly turn your hips to inward/neutral rotation, because right now they're externally rotated, right? So I haven't moved yet because my hips are still like, girl, what you do to me? Okay, and then you slowly, like literally if you're on the ground, this is probably how slow you can help yourself move over this very slowly. It's very slow. Okay, there's no need to rush. Generally when you spend a long time in a pose, you want to spend as much time getting out of the pose. So that includes the how quickly you move out of it. Like we had popped out of that rather quickly. Probably could have taken a little bit longer to come out of it, you know? So it's all about being safe. If you take a really long time in a stretch, just popping out of it is not good for the body. Think of your body as an elastic. It's almost just snapping it back too quickly is very bad for something. All right, let's do a quick little cool down. We're just gonna take the legs and we're gonna take them in front of us and we're gonna pull the feet up, knees are bent, and we're just gonna windshield wiper the legs to loosen up those hips again. And then we're gonna take the legs forward together, relax the feet, doesn't matter if they're flexed or pointed. We're gonna reach the arms up and then fold forward. Relax your head, neck, and shoulders, drop your chin. Again, if you want, you can make little fists with your hands to support your head if you don't feel like having your head dangle. And then gently roll it up one vertebra at a time. Give yourself a high five, because you are amazing. That was great. I hope you enjoyed yourself as much as I did. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you guys next time.